Facebook is now Meta, gentlemen.
Maybe.
What do we think about this?
Okay. So
No, it's happened. They have all the money. It's happened.
Well, the company, the PC company Meta, they're like, no, that's our name. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're like, we'll give it to you for $20 million, which is a drop in the bucket for freaking Zuck. You know what I mean?
Ask for triple that.
Yeah. It'd be like 120 million is what I would ask for. You screwed up, Meta. If this you know,
Sure.
he's like, stop. He like pulls out pocket change, like just pulls out like pocket money. He's like, here you go. They'll be like, oh my God, what?
For 4 letters.
Yeah. Exactly. Mikey, how do you feel about it? You go first since you're the guest.
I mean, I'm indifferent to it. Anything with Facebook besides like Oculus branding, I mean, it doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Do they even need a rebrand? Because I mean, they're so.
Do they need a rebrand? Yeah, because Facebook has what's the line from The Dark Knight Rises?
You either die a hero.
Rachel. That one?
Yeah. Rachel.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't.
Oh, gotcha.
That's just the show. But no, it's you live long enough to I can't even remember it now. Oh man.
You live long enough to see yourself, or you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And now that's what's happened with Zuckerberg. He has now become the villain. He's been the villain for quite some time.
Villain.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been that way for a long time.
Did you see The Social Network? Good God.
It's reached critical mass, and now they're realizing, we can't do enough PR with Facebook as our name. We have to do something different. And so that's what's happening. They're pivoting. That's I think that's the business term, is they're pivoting. And so now they're becoming Meta, which, fine. You know, it's still Facebook. We're going to refer to it as Facebook, but it is going to be changing to Meta. Go ahead.
I want to be on the fly on the wall in like that conference room of like, why that name?
I have an answer for that.
Why? Okay, drop it on me.
You'll hear a lot. You're going to start hearing this term more and more. You know, the metaverse. That's a term that's been around for a long time, but it's starting. You know, with the increase of technology and like with Web 2 kind of being pushed out. Like we're about to be on the brink of Web 3, and Web 3 is a huge thing for the metaverse in general. Not only in terms of how we interact, but how we purchase things, how we interact with different markets and things like that. Yeah. So it's
and using terms like cyberspace is so 1999.
Yeah,
we don't
exactly.
want to be associated with anything 20th century.
Basically,
so, yeah.
I just started using the term cyberspace.
Well, you're already 20 years behind.
Yeah, you're like Windows XP. You know what I mean? That's Mikey.
I love that software.
It's still it still works, but you know it's like it's all right. You know, whatever.
Yeah. It's 20 years old. I worked on a copier today that was 20 years old. That's a rare thing now.
Wait, are we saying that things over 20 years old are obsolete?
In this day and age, yes.
Basically.
Well,
we are the dude, like wow. Okay, Ethan is like ancient. You and I are old, Mikey. Like you and I are old in this space.
I have several firmware updates out of date. So
yeah, you know, like that white computer that like it's just the monitor and it's all glass. What do they even call that thing? Dinosaur?
The iMac?
No. You know how TVs
Anyway.
used to have the tubes and whatnot?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening with Facebook. They are changing their name to Meta.
Right.
The interesting thing that I thought about this was how it impacts Oculus. You mentioned Oculus earlier. From a Gizmodo.com article, we learned that the Meta CTO, Andrew Bosworth, announced that the company would transition away from the Oculus branding beginning in 2022. The Quest virtual... Now, follow me through the room here with all these name changes. The Quest virtual reality headset isn't actually going anywhere. Its name is changing to Meta Quest. And Facebook Reality Labs is being rebranded Reality Labs, Meta's VR AR division. The Oculus app will also be rebranded to Meta Quest. Facebook's Portal division is getting the same treatment and will now be known as Meta Portal. Did you follow all that?
So they're just
It's just across the board. Anything with Facebook's getting wiped out. They're rebranding it all.
Facelift. They're
No,
No, what happened? What
changing
happened
the
was
engine.
this is literally what happened in that meeting. They went, give me a pen. Literally, that's what happened with all these name changes.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. Okay, I get the Meta Quest because, like, the Oculus, it's like, all right, you know, I think here's my 2 cents on this one. All right. Facebook, as you mentioned, has not been in a good place for a long time. People associate Oculus with Facebook. So,
well, okay. Yeah, let's talk about that for just a second here.
yes.
It's associated with Facebook because Facebook requires you to have a Facebook account to use your Oculus. I hate that. I have a Facebook account. I don't use it. Other than I did sell some furniture on it, which was pretty handy, actually, now that I think about it. But I don't put any information on there. I don't friend anybody. I have a useless Facebook account. But now, Facebook is ditching that requirement that you have to have a Facebook account to use the Oculus.
Smartest move.
Yeah.
Smartest move.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that.
Well,
they are a little bit less evil because of just that move alone.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, there are so many people, like, in this space and in this community, you know, that, and obviously we don't want to, we try to not get into, like, the whole like, political anything, really, but there's people right down the middle on both sides that just don't like Facebook in general for the fact that it's Facebook. And I know that there's hundreds of people I've seen on Twitter that have literally said, yeah, I would totally have an Oculus Quest, but it requires me to have
for Facebook. Yeah.
But it requires me to have Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, smartest decision ever. And the Quest, I mean, for the money, like, best headset you can buy for the money. Like, no brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So anyway, that was all I had on that one. Just the fact that now I should be able to operate my Oculus without having that stupid account out there.
Except now you're godfathered in, kind of like, you know, if you had, like, on the cell phone plans, you know, it's like, oh no, if you delete your no man,
we've got you
delete your Facebook account, you lose all your games. What?
Yeah.
How does that work? I don't make the rules, man. It's just how it is, you know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they make another launcher. I mean, that you have to sign up for, because I mean, if you think about it, like EA, when you play EA games, you have to have you don't have to, but they have an option to have an EA so it can track all your stuff, or when you play an Activision game or any other thing, you know. So if they're switching over to Meta, I wouldn't be surprised to see, hey, here's a Meta account for you to sign up for, which secretly is probably still linked to Facebook.
It's the same thing. I mean,
it's the same company.
Facebook. Well, and here's the difference between web. Okay, here's the difference between, like, Web 2 and Web 3 design, right? Like, we have just now kind of started an integrated, you know, like, shopping and stuff like that through apps and whatnot, right? Like, you can buy stuff on Instagram, you can buy stuff. You buy stuff on Instagram, you can buy stuff on Facebook. It's going to take it to the next level, including virtual reality. Like, it's going to be even bigger. So, you know, I think that's one thing that I don't want to, like, gloss over. They are literally trying to be, like, the next world-changing thing again.
The way they had it described in the article that I read there on Gizmodo is that the world and the environment that we saw built or developed in Ready Player One, that's the goal.
Yeah.
They're pushing to get humanity toward that kind of interaction with the internet and virtual reality and augmented reality. And it's coming. You know, in another 50 years, we're going to be doing this podcast, and if anybody was looking at an actual camera, they would be seeing headsets around us because we just exist there. That's what Meta wants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, you know, fortunately, I'm old enough, I won't be around for that world, and that's fine with me. But, or maybe I will. Who knows?
You probably will.
If it's 10 years down the road, I may still be around
with
for it.
The speed that they're pumping out new stuff. I mean,
Well, I mean, the infrastructure is already there. Is the thing, like, it's already been.
They just got to get the hardware.
You know,
right.
like, I mean, literally.
That is true.
It's been conceptualized already. It's nothing new. Like, we've seen stuff. I mean, we've been seeing this in the movies for years. You know, like, for instance, think about it. Tesla, like, self-driving cars, you know, the car of the future, a car that doesn't require gas, right? You know, infinitely more cheap than trying to spin gas, better on the environment, right? Well, I guess that's arguable depending on who you talk to, but, yeah, I mean, we're on the brink of this thing, you know, of this being a completely different era, and it's going to be crazy whenever it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whether you like it or not, Facebook/Meta is at the cutting edge of it. They are pushing for it.
They are pushing for it.
So it's coming, folks. So whether you like it or not,
Be ready.
be ready.
Hey, thanks so much for showing up. If this is your first time here, I would really appreciate it if you consider subscribing. It would seriously mean a lot. A fun fact for you, many YouTubers actually get most of their numbers from people who are not subscribed. So if you enjoy my personality, if you enjoy the content you've seen here, consider subscribing. I would seriously appreciate it.